Good afternoon, Carnegie Mellon University. My name is Mike Holohan. I am a Presbyterian pastor of the Commonwealth Church here in Oakland. And this year, I am the chairperson of the Council of Religious Advisors here on campus. CORA is an interfaith group of religious leaders that exists to connect religious students to traditions they want to practice here and to promote interfaith understanding and cooperation. If you are looking for a spiritual home away from home, I would love to talk with you about the 22 religious groups on our council representing Christian, Jewish, Hindu, and Baha'i traditions, as well as other traditions represented by our student orgs. Your theme this year is Pursue Your Happiness. And as a religious leader, I love it, because the pursuit of true happiness is a task that is shared by all of our religious and humanist traditions. We may have different conceptions of what happiness is or how to experience it, but the pursuit is common ground. One thing that we do all agree on is that the practice of gratitude, of feeling and expressing thankfulness, is essential to our well-being. In fact, positive psychology research shows that gratitude helps us feel more positive emotions, relish good experiences, improve our health, deal with adversity, and build strong relationships. And so as we enter into this convocation space together, as you prepare for the next few years here at CMU, I'd like you to take a moment to feel thankful for your past, for your present, and for your future. We give thanks for all those who helped you arrive at this place and this time, for family and friends, for teachers and coaches, for neighbors and mentors. We give thanks. And while you're at it, give thanks for yourself, for the talents and character that you have nurtured within you. We give thanks. We give thanks for all those who are preparing this learning space for you, for professors and custodians, for food service workers and therapists, for administrators and coaches, perhaps even for religious leaders. We give thanks. We give thanks for all those who you will meet in the next few years and beyond, for new friends and new romantic partners, for colleagues and coworkers, for artistic collaborators and business partners. We give thanks. There are those who think that happiness can be found in our individual pursuits of accomplishment and wealth and consumption. But one of the things I love about your generation is that you see through the shallowness of that. You know that true happiness goes much deeper, and that true happiness comes from community and relationship. And so here is my prayer for you this morning, if you will allow me to pray for you. And if not, then please accept my hope for you, that you will pursue a deeper happiness that comes from contentment, meaning, and significance. That you will use the skills and talents you develop here to bring your own gladness and the world's needs together. May you pursue not only your own happiness, but our happiness. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Holohan, for the beautiful invocation. Good afternoon, and again, welcome to Carnegie Mellon. My name is Lauren Moran, and I serve as the Associate Dean for Student Affairs and Director of First Year Orientation and Family Engagement. It's hard to believe that we are 6 days into the First Year Orientation program. While I know this experience can be overwhelming at times, I hope that the last few days have been filled with engagement, learning, fellowship, and most of all, fun. In my opening remarks at the President's Welcome, I shared with you all that CMU's First Year Orientation is an intentionally designed experience to help you build a foundation for success at Carnegie Mellon. Leading up to today, we've focused on community belonging, well-being, campus involvement, and Tartan pride. You were introduced to your housing community, learned house chants and other house traditions. You engaged in dialogue with our diverse and inclusive community and cheered on fellow students as they showcased their cultural interests and talents and shared their stories about their authentic selves. You learned about CMU's commitment to your personal well-being and engaged in one of the many wellness opportunities on campus. While all of these components of orientation are critical to your success, for many students at CMU, the academic program is perhaps the element you are most eager to learn about. Yesterday evening and earlier today, you were introduced to your academic colleges, along with the faculty and staff who will support your academic journey. We hope that these activities are an exciting snapshot of all that is yet to come. Today's convocation ceremony is the formal academic celebration that marks the arrival of the class of 2027 plus and the presentation of new students by college to their respective dean. This is a pivotal moment in your academic journey and an essential component in the overall orientation experience. While your academic journey over the next few years will have both successes and challenges, I want to reassure you that the entire Carnegie Mellon community is here to support you. The next time you will celebrate with your entire entering class will be commencement. So now, I encourage you to look around, take in this moment, and be proud to call yourself a Tartan. On behalf of the entire first-year orientation team, we wish you the best of luck in your time at Carnegie Mellon, and will continue to support the class of 2027 plus as you embark on this new journey. It's now my pleasure to introduce Sean Nerona, who will serve as Master of Ceremonies for this program.
Thank you, Lauren. Good afternoon, and welcome to Convocation 2023. My name is Sean Nerona, and I'm one of this year's head orientation counselors. It is my honor to be here today to welcome you all to the Carnegie Mellon community. Convocation marks the formal beginning of your time here at CMU. From now until the day you don your cap and gown, you will be fully fledged CMU students. Take a moment again to look at the people around you. You're surrounded by peers who will join you on this adventure, peers who will help you make memories that will last a lifetime. As you know, our orientation theme this year is Pursue Your Happiness. Some of you may have seen this message on signs as you drove into Pennsylvania, or maybe you've seen it engraved in the very first line of the Declaration of Independence. It's a message that remains just as important today as it did centuries ago. For some, happiness is getting an A on their 15-112 final. For others, it's playing in their team's national championships. For you, it might be singing, doing research, being an OC, eating at Hunan, or simply spending time with your friends. Here at Convocation, you're taking the first step in a journey of discovery and growth, a journey that will continue long after you've left this campus. One thing I can tell you, though, is that wherever pursuing your happiness takes you, Carnegie Mellon will be there every step of the way. Today, you will be hearing from several CMU leaders as they offer their own wisdom and advice on making the most of your CMU experience. It is now my pleasure to introduce the first of these speakers. Jim Garrett is Carnegie Mellon's Provost and Chief Academic Officer. Prior to his appointment to this role, he served as a member of the CMU faculty for over 20 years before becoming Dean of the College of Engineering in 2013. Provost Garrett is the definition of a lifelong Tartan, having received his bachelor's, master's, and doctorate degrees in civil and environmental engineering, all from CMU. Please join me in welcoming Provost Garrett to the podium.
Thank you, Sean, for that kind introduction. I really do appreciate it. And good afternoon, Carnegie Mellon class of 2027 plus. I want to give a big thank you to Sean and the other head orientation counselors for creating such an engaging experience for our first-year students. it is my sincere pleasure to join President Johanian, our deans, and university leadership in welcoming you to Carnegie Mellon University's community. Each year, I get very excited about orientation because you can feel the energy of a new academic year beginning. I hope you're enjoying the excitement of your first few days here on campus as you begin this new chapter. Of course, at one point or another, we'll all experience some anxiety or uncertainty about these new beginnings. But at this moment, as I consider the multiple and diverse backgrounds and talents in your class, I am confident that each and every one of you has an extremely bright future. As Sean said, I received my 3 degrees from Carnegie Mellon University. I left Pittsburgh for a few years after that, but eventually came back in 1990, and I never left. I had and I still have such a deep respect for the unique culture here, for the people, for the academic rigor, the collegiality, and for the unlimited research and creative opportunities our students have here at CMU. Carnegie Mellon has unquestionably influenced my life in ways that would not have happened at any other university. And for that, I am grateful. And you surely have your own reasons that brought you here to Carnegie Mellon. Maybe you were drawn to this campus for our excellent fine arts programs. Or maybe it was the opportunity to learn from the world's most brilliant designers, scientists, engineers, and thought leaders in the humanities, social sciences, policy, and business. The bottom line is most of you choose CMU precisely for the outstanding academic reputation. You expect us to deliver an exceptional education, and we promise each and every one of you that we will deliver. Every year at Convocation, it is our tradition for the provost, me, to quote our benefactor, Andrew Carnegie, and contrary to somebody's beliefs, I was not here when Andrew Carnegie made this declaration. He established what we now know as Carnegie Mellon University. Our university's story began on November 15th, 1900, when Carnegie wrote the mayor of Pittsburgh announcing his wish to establish a technical school. He wrote, "If the city of Pittsburgh can furnish a site, I shall be delighted to furnish the money for such a school. There are many questions to decide involving investigation, careful study, and much labor. But I'm in a position to assure you that my heart is in the work." With that letter, the university began, and the phrase, "My heart is in the work," became our motto. And I'm confident that this phrase will come to resonate with each of you in different ways. In 1905, the inaugural class enrolled 120 students. Most attended part-time in the evenings after work, and more than 90% hailed from Pittsburgh. Now, over a century later, your class looks a little different, and I'm pleased to celebrate the diversity of this incoming class. For example, this year, CMU has over 1,700 first-year students hailing from 45 states and 36 countries. Nearly 17% of you are joining us from international locations, and 14% of your classmates are first-generation college students. Our global, intellectual, diverse community has a deep tradition of excellence in education, research, creativity, and scholarship. Today, you join our community, and we're a better university because you're here. We're committed to your success, and we will work hard to make sure you have an inclusive, supportive, and excellent experience here. As you start your journey, I encourage you to immerse yourself in the culture and activities CMU has to offer. We have a hands-on approach to learning, and your active participation will lead you to success both in and outside of the classroom. Reach out to your professors. Tap into the knowledge of your academic advisors. Take advantage of the resources here on campus, like the Student Academic Success Center. They're here to help you learn at your highest capacity. And please take a chance to get to meet me too. Consider this your formal invitation to join me during my monthly office hours, open to everybody on campus, so that we can talk about how things are going for you. I also love hearing about your ideas and your aspirations. Keep an eye out in the upcoming issue of The Piper, which is our community-wide weekly publication, for more information about when and where my office hours will be held. I look forward to seeing you on campus and in the classroom as we get this year started. And I wish you all an amazing first year here at Carnegie Mellon University. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce you to the president of the Undergraduate Student Senate, Kyle Hines. Kyle is a junior hailing from State College, Pennsylvania. He is pursuing a double major in the Dietrich College, studying international relations and politics with an additional major in statistics and machine learning. He has worked as a redistricting activist and served as Student Senate's finance chair last year. Please join me again in welcoming Kyle Hines to the podium.
Appreciate it. Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you, Provost Garrett, for that warm welcome. The first order of business, even though I know you've heard it a million times, is to congratulate you on being here today. Getting into Carnegie Mellon is not easy, and it's reflective of a lifetime of hard work. Each and every one of you should be ridiculously proud, not just of yourselves, but also of the people sitting next to you. It wasn't long ago that I remember sitting where you are now, with absolutely no idea what college was going to entail, how I'd make friends, what to expect from classes, anything. It's crazy to be standing up here just 2 years later, trying to pass on a little bit of what I've learned to all of you. In particular, there's one thing I want to talk about. Close your eyes, hop into your time machines, and imagine for a moment that the year is 2080. 57 years from now, well beyond the point where college apps, the distinction between an A and a B, whether you made the dean's list, any of that matters. You're in your 70s. So think for a few seconds. When you look back, what do you want to have done? What do you want to have accomplished? And what will make you smile back on a life well lived? What will make you look back on your life and realize that you were happy? Maybe it's a successful career. Maybe it's money. Maybe it's making the world just a little bit better for everyone else. Maybe it's a big, happy family, whether chosen or by blood. Maybe it's something else. Maybe it's a lot of things. What do you want to be able to look back on? I don't have an answer to you. That's not up to me. It's up to you. And you might not have an answer right now, tomorrow, or even this year. But what I can say, and what I know that you know, is that you should start making decisions that will lead you to that destination, and you should start making them as soon as you can. I know what will make me proud of my life. Life can change people's plans, obviously, but when I'm 77, I want a yard full of grandkids. I want to be able to look back and say that I was the kind of person that other people like to know. And I want to have, for my whole life, a ring of close friends that I know I can rely upon when the going gets tough. And here, at CMU, is where I've met many of my best friends, and it's where they met the banes of their existence. For me, the first place I felt at home at Carnegie Mellon was in my residence hall. I was in Scoble freshman year, and a lot of you are probably thinking, wait, isn't Scoble a girls' dorm? So if you live there now, you might not believe me, but 2 years ago, Scoble was a guys' dorm. And I know it's nice now, but it had a reputation as the dirtiest, most run-down dorm on campus. It had a pool table. According to the rumor mill, at least, Henderson residents stole it in the middle of the pandemic, in the middle of the night. But sitting around in the Scoble lounge, playing way too many games of cards, and arguing way too much about baseball and college football, go Pirates, by the way, is where I had many of those conversations and where I found my first community at Carnegie Mellon. Since then, I've added to it by striking up conversations in classes, joining clubs, and meeting friends of friends. But once you've got that first community, life at college gets infinitely easier and more fun. And the late nights of cramming for classes that turn into the early mornings of cramming for classes, and you better believe that will happen, are way more sufferable when you've got other people to do it with. So make sure you spend a lot of time, especially early in the semester, making friends, meeting new people, and just having a good time. You all have a lot of time to think about your future, but make sure that you spare a thought for your present. Because if you don't spare a thought for the present in the present, you won't spare a thought for the present in the future. When I graduate, I'll be able to look at the friends who walk across the stage with me and honestly say that I'm happy that I spent my 4 years at Carnegie Mellon with them. And because of that, when I'm old, I'll look back on graduation with a smile on my face as the culmination of a period of my life spent not just preparing for the next period, but spent living. My hope for you is that when the time comes for your graduation, and when down the line you're 77 and you're sitting in a living room full of your kids' kids, that you'll be able to say the same thing. Have an awesome year, everybody. Thank you so much, and with that, please welcome Sean back to the podium with just as much vigor as last time. Thank you.
Thank you, Kyle. It is now my pleasure to introduce our faculty speaker for today, Dr. Matthew Johnson Robertson. Matthew Johnson Robertson is the director of Carnegie Mellon Robotics Institute and a professor in the School of Computer Science. He received a PhD from the University of Sydney in 2010 and his Bachelor of Science in Computer Science from CMU in 2005. He has worked in robotic perception since the first DARPA Grand Challenge, and his group focuses on enabling robots to better see and understand their environment. Please join me now in warmly welcoming Dr. Johnson Robertson.
Thank you. It's really my pleasure to speak to this crowd. Sorry. So my birthday's in August. My birthday's August 27th, which is a summer birthday here in the US. And so for any of my summer birthday heads out there, you know there's some advantages and some disadvantages. An advantage, it's warm, so that's cool. I like that. Disadvantage, school's often out. And so when I was in middle school and high school, it was out. But when I came to Carnegie Mellon, it's often the first day of school. So 22 years ago, almost to the day, I was sitting right where you are, starting as a first-year student. Now, school started on the first day of my birthday. And so I was sitting alone in my dorm, just across the way there, more with 3E, for the 3E heads out there, with a small party hat on, with no friends, sitting there singing happy birthday to myself, alone. And that mirrored every single time that school had started and I didn't know anyone, basically every year up to that point. So I was really happy to come to CMU, but again, I was trying to figure out how I was gonna make friends. And friendship seems to be the theme of what we're talking about today, because I think more importantly than anything else I learned here, the relationships I made, but also the ability to make friendships is the thing that's carried me through the rest of my career. You know, the thing when you have a summer birthday is that a couple things come to mind. One is if you move to Australia, you get a winter birthday. And then the second is that you learn the value and power of having a community around you, friends, when you're trying to celebrate things. And so it has really taught me to treasure all the friendships I've made, even when I have to start over or start somewhere new. And it never seemed like I was gonna make friends, but every single time when I started at a new school or started here at Carnegie Mellon, I made friends. And they were there for the first day of class. They were there for the first time I failed a class. They were there when I got sick to bring me food. And they were there to help me pack up when I got to graduation. and to see me off to the rest of my life. I think that that is one of the most critical things you can take away from this week here, is think about the relationships you'll forge and how they will carry you through the rest of your life, and ultimately, hopefully take you to the places you want to go. So I wanted to think about what has changed for you since I went to college. And I started to think about the idea of professionalization. So when I was going to college, I think we were just on the cusp of what has really accelerated quite a bit for you. And that was, people were really, really thinking about and worried about and pretty obsessed with getting into school. And so I remember going through US News and World Report, which has a lot of problems, we can talk about that later, and thinking about, okay, let's look at rankings. Let me try to get organized with my extracurriculars, with my sports, with all the things I've done, and get my resume into the best possible shape it could be. And since then, things have only magnified. People have talked about this before, but you have faced an enormous challenge getting into college. And to some degree, that professionalization has made you so incredibly focused on getting to this goal that I hope you get the chance and the opportunity to step back now that you're here and really reflect on what you'd like to get out of the college experience. I know for me, by the time I got to college, I was so exhausted with the process of getting into college, it took me a couple of years to figure out what I even wanted to do. And so I think that, given all the pressures that you face, that you're competing in this world that is very difficult, and you should be really proud of yourself, but you should also give yourself the space and the time to figure out what all this really means. So I would argue that one of the most powerful things you have now that you are here in college is the ability to bring your own meaning to whatever you want to do here. Ultimately, whatever you decide to spend your time and energy on here, it has to be something that is meaningful to you. And this idea of finding your own happiness is also about finding your own sense of meaning. And I think that one of the most powerful things about my time here at Carnegie Mellon, and I hope that you're able to have the same experience, is that finding that meaning really set me up for the rest of my life. So at some point, everyone who has built the world that you've inherited will be gone. And you'll be left to deal with a world that I would argue we've made markedly worse for you, and you're gonna have to deal with the fallout and the problems that we've created. But I believe in this next generation, and I believe that everyone here in this room will have the power to really make a change for a lot of the things that we see headed in the wrong direction. So I think that the skills and the successes that you'll take from this experience, if you can find a way to make them relevant and meaningful to you, that I think you can take that and change all of the things that aren't working and are broken about the society in which we live right now. I also hope you come out with a better understanding of yourselves, because again, if you think about 2080, in which I will be dead, which is sort of a bummer for me, which I've been haunted by for the last 5 minutes, but you won't be. And so you'll have the opportunity to think about the world you want to live in and spend the next N years making that possible. So I will leave you with that thought, that the world you're going to live in is going to be whatever one you want to create, and it's going to be whatever one that collectively all of you can build as a shared vision. And if we have done our job educating you and sending you out into the world with that passion, with those skills, and with that clear vision of what you want to do, I believe that we can and will live in a better world than we live in today. Thank you. Sean, oh, there he is.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Johnson-Roberson, for your perspective and advice. It is now my honor to introduce and award the class tile to this first-year class. As Provost Garrett mentioned, when Carnegie Mellon opened its doors in 1905, only 120 students comprised the charter class. When these students graduated in June 1908, a bronze tile was installed in the floor of the entrance to Baker Hall to commemorate their accomplishments. In that tradition, a tile has been added to the floor each year thereafter to honor the most recent graduating class. Each year, we award the class tile to 2 first-year students who have been exemplary participants in the first-year orientation program. It is now my pleasure to present the class of 2027 plus with your class tile. Duncan Winters is in the College of Engineering and lives in Mudge. Duncan was nominated for showing exceptional enthusiasm during all events and representing the uniqueness of CMU with his world-recognized bagpiping abilities. Isabella Garcia is in Tepper School of Business and lives in Stever. Isabella was nominated for being highly engaged with her floor community and helping to create spaces where other residents feel comfortable sharing their feelings. Will Duncan Winters and Isabella Garcia please come forward? It is our hope that this tile will be passed through the ownership of each college over the next 4 years. Through being passed department to department, I'm confident that by commencement, it will reflect numerous memories from the entire class of 2027. The next 4 years will hold many things for you: new people, new experiences, and new challenges. When your tile is added to Baker Hall upon your commencement, I hope that you will have made the most of these new opportunities and contributed in your own unique way to the Carnegie Mellon community. At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce President Farnam Jahanian. A nationally recognized computer scientist, entrepreneur, public servant, and higher education leader, Dr. Jahanian has had a huge impact here at Carnegie Mellon, especially for his passionate engagement of students and dedication to improving their experience on campus. He and his wife, Triss, are also proud parents of a CMU alumna. Please join me now in welcoming Dr. Farnam Jahanian.
Great job. Well, Sean, first of all, thank you for your leadership throughout the orientation, for that warm introduction. Let's hear it for Sean. And let's thank all of our speakers, Reverend Mike Holohan, Provost Jim Garrett, Lauren Moran from our Student Affairs, undergraduate Student Senate President Kyle Hines. Kyle, by the way, don't rush in having grandkids yet, okay? Just
No worries.
okay, pace yourself. And by the way, that was a great speech. And of course, Professor Matthew Johnson Robertson, our outstanding keynote speaker. Let's hear it for all of them. Well, good afternoon, Carnegie Mellon class of 2027. You have been relatively quiet this afternoon. It must have been a long week, so let me start with a couple of questions. Are you still excited to be here? That's pretty good. All right. And here's a second question for you. Are you glad your parents and families have finally left? All right. By the way, I've taken about 16 or so selfies since Sunday. This class is about 1,716, Provost Garrett. So I have 1,700 more to go before you graduate. So let me seriously take this opportunity to welcome members of our university leadership team who are here with us on this stage, including our deans, associate deans, vice provosts, and vice presidents. I also want to thank members of the CMU admissions department who did an amazing job reviewing nearly 34,000 applications this year. In fact, this team is the reason you're here today. Finally, I want to thank everyone who's made Orientation Week such a success, including Gina Castellino, our Vice President for Student Affairs, and Dean of Students, and our entire team. Let's hear it for them. You know, the success of orientation depends on relentless enthusiasm and dedication of so many people. This year, hundreds of students, volunteers, staff, faculty assisted with over 200 orientation events, and you participated in many of them. And 154, thank you for that enthusiastic response. 154 resident assistant, community advisors, house fellows are helping you settle into your new homes across 12 first-year house communities. These teams have really one job, and it's still underway. They're here to welcome you to CMU and help you thrive during your earliest days here on our campus. This includes 160 orientation leaders and counselors who have cheered you on over the last week or so. And it also includes 7 outstanding head orientation counselors who deserve their turn in the spotlight. So I'm going to name them one by one. When I call your name, please stand to be recognized. Let's start with Pranathi Bairupunani. I got it. I knew I was going to somehow butcher it, but anyway. For Morewood and E-Tower. Abby Cunningham for Donner House. Yuna Lee for Mudge. Isha Nekpal for The Hill. Okay, I promised the orientation counselors for The Hill that I would do the Hill sign so that everybody else gets mad at me. Here you go. How's that? All right, good. You know, my daughter was in Stever when she was a student here, so, all right, good. So don't tell her that I did the Hill sign. Charlotte Ng for Morewood Gardens. And of course, Sean Norona for Stever House. There you go. Okay. Oh, I missed it. You know, every year I skip over. I did this last year. Kevin, where are you? Come on up here. Come on, get up here for a second. I somehow miss one HOC every year. Kevin, let's hear it for Kevin, Fifth Avenue neighborhood. Good job, good job. Where is it? All right, good job. Thank you, Sean. Good job. Somebody's paying attention. Okay, good. Where was I? Okay. Over the last 5 days, you've already begun to absorb the CMU culture and learn the rhythm of our campus. And of course, you've started to, when you start hearing bagpipes, that's usually a clue that something special or ceremonial is about to happen. And today is no different. Today is the official start of your college experience. The next several years will undoubtedly be some of the most transformative of your lives. You will form lifelong friendships, as you heard from Kyle, grow in innumerable ways, and discover passions that ignite your academic and professional careers. CMU will change you, and you will change CMU. As I mentioned during my welcome address on Sunday, you have arrived at Carnegie Mellon at a pivotal time. The future is constantly evolving, and it's driven by rapid advances in digital technologies and access to unprecedented amount of data. And it's not just technology that's changing. As new innovations and ideas percolate across society, we increasingly rely on the boldness of visual arts, music, and theater to process where we have come from and envision where we're going. It's truly amazing to think about what the future will bring. And while today the pandemic is no longer playing a central role in our lives, there's no question that it amplified and accelerated societal changes. It caused seismic shifts in the way we work, we connect with each other, with friends, conduct business, and even how we learn. It is such an exciting time to be a student and to have the world and all of its opportunities right at your fingertips. Your generation has the power to design a future that is more inclusive, more inspiring, and more sustainable. And with you as future leaders, I know I speak for all of my leadership team here, we believe that humanity's best days are still ahead of us. Now, as you prepare to make your mark, I want you to keep in mind that Carnegie Mellon is more than just academics. We all bear responsibility for ensuring that this university is welcoming and that we treat each other with dignity and respect. In a world that seems increasingly divided, our community can show others how to engage and learn from diverse perspectives, and how to use our differences to build bridges of openness and understanding. When we evaluate issues from all angles and engage in meaningful civil discourse, we all win. Freedom of speech is not only foundational to our democracy, it's also a central tenet of higher education and of a CMU education. The good news is that CMU faculty, staff, and students have never shied away from engaging in complex issues. In fact, we have a history of leaning into our differences and using them to drive important conversations. We all have a role to play in nurturing a culture of mutual respect on this campus. And I believe that if we get this right, CMU can serve as a model for the rest of the world. Now, the class of 2027. In just a few moments, I will formally present you to your deans and officially start your CMU journey. This is a big moment. So let's take a second to appreciate where you are and the journey you're about to embark on. Look around. Savor the sights and sounds. In fact, I encourage you to do this throughout your college career. You've probably heard this by now, but college goes fast. So every once in a while, when you're on campus, stop and remind yourself. In fact, when you leave this tent, stop and remind yourself for a moment. You're exactly where you need to be. This is a wondrous moment in your life. And you have earned this rare opportunity to expand your horizon alongside of some of the most gifted scholars on the planet. So once again, class of 2027, congratulations and welcome to Carnegie Mellon. Now comes the fun part. I would like to ask the incoming students in each college or school to stand if you're able to as I announce you so that I may present you to your dean and your school or college leadership. Will the students from the College of Engineering please rise if you're able, along with the dean and the college leadership. Dean Sanders and college leaders, I present to you the class of 2027. Congratulations. Please be seated. Will the students from the College of Fine Arts please rise if you're able? Along with the dean. You're not supposed to sit down yet. I haven't introduced you. You just made a lot of noise. I haven't done my part yet. Dean Poole and college leaders, I present to you the CFA class of 2027 and 2028. Congratulations. Please be seated. Will the students from the Bachelor of Humanities and Arts program, the Bachelor of Science and Arts program, the Bachelor of Computer Science and Arts, and the Bachelor of Engineering Studies and Arts, please rise if you're able to, along with their deans and college or school leadership. Here they are. Woo! Dean Poole, Dean Shyness, Associate Dean Braun, Dean Herbert Marshall-Hubert, Dean Sanders, leaders of the College of Fine Arts, Dietrich College of Humanities and Social Sciences, Mellon College of Science, the School of Computer Science, and the College of Engineering, I present to you the BHA, BSA, BCSA, and BESA class of 2027. Here we go. Congratulations. Please be seated. All right, next one. Will the students from the Dietrich College of Humanities and Social Sciences please rise if you're able to, along with the deans and college leadership. Dean Shyness and the leaders and college leaders, I present to you the Dietrich College of Humanities and Social Sciences class of 2027. Congratulations. Please be seated. Will the students from the Information Systems program in the Dietrich College and Heinz College please rise if you're able, along with dean and college leadership. Dean Krishnan, Dean Shyness, and college leaders, I present to you the Information Systems class of 2027. Congratulations. Please be seated. As we move to the Mellon College of Science, I want to quickly note that Dr. Maggie Braun, teaching professor and MCS Associate Dean for Undergraduate Affairs, will be filling in for Dean Meyer, who is unexpectedly was unable to join us today. He sends his regards, of course. Now, will the students from the Mellon College of Science please rise if you're able, along with the college leadership. Here we are. Associate Dean Braun and college leaders, I present to you the MCS class of 2027. Congratulations. Please be seated. Will the students from the School of Computer Science please rise if you're able, along with the deans and school leadership. Dean Hubert and school leaders, I present to you the SCS class of 2027. Congratulations. Please be seated. Will the students from the Tepper School of Business please rise? If you're able to, along with the dean and college leadership. Dean Bajou and school leaders, I present to you the Tepper School of Business class of 2027. Congratulations. Please be seated. Once again, please join me in welcoming all of our new students across all of our outstanding programs, colleges, and schools. Please join me in congratulating me. To our students, as you can see, there are plenty of people to get to know in the coming weeks and months. And to help with this, if you run into your provost, deans, faculty members, members of the leadership, or myself, outside the class, of course, I hope that you'll stop and introduce yourself. We all are looking forward to meeting you and wishing you, of course, much success. We're really excited that you're here. We're excited to see the mark that you will make on our campus community and on the world. So once again, members of the class of 2027, congratulations and welcome to Carnegie Mellon. I'm going to turn it back to Sean to close out the program. Sean, the podium is yours.
Great. Thank you, President Jahanian. In a moment, members of Carnegie Mellon's pipes and drums will begin playing the recessional music. So I invite you to stand and remain in your seat until they have recessed. In closing, I'd like to express my thanks to President Jahanian, Provost Garrett, Professor Johnson Robertson, Kyle Hines, Lauren Moran, Reverend Holohan, deans, faculty, staff, friends, and most of all you, the class of 2027 plus, for attending this special ceremony. Once again, I welcome you to the Carnegie Mellon community and wish you the best for this coming semester and the rest of your time here at CMU. We can't wait to see what all of you do. Thank you again and enjoy the remainder of orientation.